relating, how relatable things in Revelation are to what's going on in our world today and how it's changed and so quickly with the pandemic and whatever, and change of leadership and everything. So it's a great, well, it's not a great story, but really there's headlines. I don't know. I like to read the paper as much, not as much as I read the Bible, but I want to keep up to date with what's going on. So it was a very interesting story, kind of ties into the message with the idea. But there was a, I don't know if you heard it, saw it, but read it. But there was a 911 operator in Louisiana. There's now a warrant out for her arrest, okay? Because in the middle of the the emergency, right? Louisiana, it's below sea level. It's like still doesn't have power today, whatever. So her job, take calls and help people who are calling for emergency and for help. And they're out they're going to arrest her. She's got fired because people were calling in their emergency, and she was hanging up on them. Can you believe that? I guess, maybe there weren't enough people to help her. Maybe she, felt overwhelmed over, but you're a 911 operator, you don't hang up on people, okay? And, I don't know what's going to happen to her. But, I'm just wondering, and that, I want you to try to relate that, but, kind of like, we're not 911 operators, but I wonder if we do the same. I wonder if we hang up on people. You know what I'm talking about? We've got all these wonderful little catchphrases, that we kind of like throw out all over the place, Here's, I used to do top tens, whatever, back in the day. I thought they were funny. I don't know about anybody else, whatever. But it's like, hey, people are in an emergency. What do we say to them? Well, if you need help, just call 911. Okay, that might not work. All right. I'll be praying for you. All right. I got your back. All things work together for good. Count it all joy when you experience various trials, okay? What he brought you to, he will bring you through, all right? He will not give you more than you can handle, or his grace is sufficient. It is what it is. Kind of like, God will provide. That's the nice little catchphrases that we throw up. But I wonder, is that just kind of like the 911, we're hanging up on people, That's not what we need to hear. We need something real. We need something real and tangible. Well, of course, there was, if you're keeping up with the news, there's a catchphrase that was on display on every news channel and every newspaper all over this week, okay? What was the catchphrase? No one left behind, okay? And that's kind of like the message. That's where I got inspired to, the end of the endless war. I'm going to be the president to end this endless war. Okay, but just let me think about it for a minute. Like, weren't you the vice president for 8 years? Why didn't you end it then? So, what I mean? But it sounds good. It's kind of like one of those little catchphrases. I don't know if it's true, but I'm just, I'm reading the news. 80,000 people in Afghanistan with travel visas who failed to get on a plane, who were left behind. I don't know about you, if you've ever been that desperate ever, but I'm asking, I was talking a little bit to, this morning there. But can you imagine risking it all, okay, to try to get to the airport, to get out so as you're not left behind? And if you saw, they're watching the news, who could ever forget the image of people clinging to the undercarriage of an airplane and the wheels, whatever? Because they're left behind. I don't think I'll ever forget seeing that, somebody falling actually from the airplane. The suicide bomber this week, killing people, soldiers, But did you notice? That's the thing that really struck me. Did you notice that the next day they were all back? I mean, that's how desperate they were. I mean, anybody in their right mind would be, yeah, I'm done with that. That's gonna happen again. You know what I'm saying? But no, they're back the next day. Okay, that's how desperate they are. And then I don't know if you can do that. Use your imagination. But just kind of like when you're at the airport, you're back at the security, whatever, and the last plane just took off. What that felt like, what that would feel like. No man left behind. Only women and children. And of course, millions and millions of dollars worth of weapons and planes. $83 billion in 20 years. That's your infrastructure budget right there. You know what I mean? I discovered something else also that, just reading some of this stuff, that one of the attack planes that's left, which cost $27 million, you know what was on board? Missiles, okay? Do you know what the missiles are called? Now I'm thinking about the locusts and, kind of like, they're called Hellfire missiles. On these planes. I find that interesting. That I don't know if there'll be 200 million of them, whatever, but I don't know, maybe John in his vision, maybe that looked like a locust, whatever, you know what I mean? Hellfire missile. Yeah, kind of like, what I'm talking about. Anyway, it's our favorite rhetoric in America. No child left behind, no one left behind, and yet we do. It's just words. It's like a 911 operator hanging up on you. And the spin doctor of the year, if you pardon me, whatever, it's got nothing to do with political parties, but the next day after leaving everybody in Afghanistan, of course, the whole thing hit Louisiana, and of course, he's on TV saying, "We're here for you." That should be reassuring for everybody in Louisiana, that's for sure. But here's the truth, all right? Here's the truth. Governments will let you down. School systems will let you down. And yes, even churches will let you down. And church people, you know what I'm saying? This week, a friend of mine who's a nurse, she's a hospice nurse, she's on call, whatever. This is what happens. Kathy's probably done it, whatever. But she called a priest for a dying patient. That's a big deal for Catholics. The sacrament of the sick. She called the priest. You know what the priest basically, and I'm not surprised because it's happened to me before, but basically, you know what the priest said to her? It's after 9 o'clock. So, that would put me off being a Catholic right away there. But anyway, even in the workplace, you get cancer. All right? What do they tell you? Well, we'll guarantee your job for 3 months. And after that, we can't promise you anything. So what do they say? Well, I'm not sure how sick you are, but you better get better in 3 months. You know what I mean? And then, while you're at it, here's FLMA at 60% of your income. Okay, God bless you. If you look into the world, you're going to come up short. But I have to tell you, even your brother in the Lord, he says, it's really taken long for you to get better. Oh, what's he saying? What's he saying? Well, this is longer than 3 months. What's happening? You know what I mean? Sounds like the world, not like a believer, right? Not like a Christian. Or, what about another believer who says, hey, how come my brother died and you're still alive? So with friends like that, who needs enemies? You know what I'm saying? But, you're looking for people to be there for you. I don't know. Good luck. People are going to walk out on you. Even your family may walk out on you. You'll be left behind. But that's not the message that I'm here I'm just going to, that's a dose of truth, you know. Some of it's personal, but I want to tell you, Proverbs 18:24 says, there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. And if you were charismatic, you'd be hooping and hollering right now, whatever, you know, that's kind of like, because that's an incredible promise. There is a friend who sticks closer than a brother because, listen, it is not God's nature to abandon. He is faithful and true. But I do want to add, you know, I don't want to paint it all doom and gloom, whatever, because there are believers who are like God. You know, they don't hang up on you. That they are faithful and true. They don't abandon you. But I have to say to you, in my experience in life, that that's a minority. Aren't you glad? Aren't you glad that there is no indication in Scripture that believers will be left behind? I don't know about you. If you've ever had a scary feeling, that's happened to me a couple of times. So you walk into a room, you know, you walk into a house and you're expecting noise and people, whatever, and for some reason it's as dead as a dormouse and there's like nobody to be found, whatever. And I don't know about you, but you ever had that thought, has the rapture occurred and I missed it? Have you ever had that? No, lucky you. But I've had that a few times over. And why? Because that's what they sold. You know, the whole left behind thing. But I want you to know today that you will never be left behind if you belong to Jesus. You will never be forgotten. Because you are, we've been learning that Revelation, you are marked, you are chosen. So here's the apocalyptic picture. It's in Revelation chapter 6 that we've kind of touched on, but there's so much in there, but I didn't really bring this. I want to bring that to attention. But Revelation 6, the martyrs is a picture of people who are wrapped in white clothes, white robes. Okay? And why is that important? Well, you need to recognize that God's people are redeemed people. Okay? The rhetoric in our culture today is that, I'm a good person. That's what that woman said. You know, kind of like, yeah, I do, but kind of like, yeah, there's good people in every religion. No, the people in heaven, the martyrs, are clothed in white robes. They've been redeemed. They're not there because of their own righteousness or goodness. They're there because of the righteousness and goodness of Jesus. And that's an important picture, and it's repeated in Revelation chapter 7, verse 9. People who are clothed in white robes, not simply good people. 7:14 is those who have come out of the tribulation. See? I touched on that as well. But just want to remind, they were not left behind. They have come out of the tribulation. So listen to what it says about these believers in chapter 7. It's verse 16 and 17. They will never go hungry and be thirsty again. And the sun will not beat down on them, nor any burning heat, because the Lamb in the middle of the throne will shepherd them and lead them to springs of living water, and God will wipe away every tear from their eyes. What does that sound like to you? Left behind? No, I don't think so, right? Don't you think, that's no one. That's what it sounds like to me. No one is left behind. That's amazing. And it's beautiful. And it's so unlike the spin doctors that we have to put up with year in, year out, wherever, whatever. Every tear wiped away. The Good Shepherd And who is the good shepherd? We did that in John's Gospel. The good shepherd is the one who knows his sheep, the one who knows them by name, the one who calls them and they follow, and the one who said, I have never lost one of my sheep. Except for the one who's predestined. That's Judas. But other than that, I have never lost one of my sheep. I have not left anyone behind. So, the question is, why? Why did they do a Left Behind series? Okay. They made a lot of money. Yeah, there are people that are left behind, but they're not believers. Can you imagine making millions and millions of dollars telling people, even preachers, you're left behind? But the good news is you get to preach to everybody else who's left behind. You've heard of watch some of their videos. It's not. Why be left behind? It's just as straightforward. We don't need paraphernalia and videos and DVDs, whatever. It's just, why be left behind? When you're going to be in the presence of the Good Shepherd and every tear is going to be wiped away and you're never going to be hungry or thirsty again, whatever, why be left behind? Well, because it's utter foolishness that you could be left behind. That's a good question to answer. So, my early exposure to youth ministry and stuff, there was other videos that were out about 666 and kind of like about Armageddon and stuff like that there. And I used to have parents plead with me to say, you need to show these teenagers these videos, whatever you got there. Why? Well, to scare the hell out of them. That's why, right? That's I don't mean that as a That's literally what they were trying to do, scare the hell out of people. So listen, that's not how you come to Jesus. And it's a whole, $1,000,000 empire, whatever, telling people left behind. Why? To try to scare people into you could be left behind if Jesus comes. And that's the rationale for you to become a Christian. It's nonsense. And I'll tell you from experience, yeah, we watched those videos and probably the whole youth group got saved that night. I'm using that word loosely, whatever. But I'll tell you what, by next week, they were back to normal. Okay? They weren't saved. They were just scared. They were going to be left behind. Discipleship, on the other hand, okay? Discipleship, what is it? Following Jesus, okay? Should not be about, we touched on this last week, discipleship is not about fire and brimstone. It's not about avoiding hell, your get out of car, hell card free, whatever. Or even entertainment like the Holy Land, kind of like, oh yeah, this is great, this is cool, whatever. Being a Christian is simply about Jesus. Knowing Jesus, the Good Shepherd, Jesus, about the love of Jesus, about redeeming love, about everlasting love, about covenant love. He will not leave you behind. A covenant love that says, I am always with you, even to the end of the age. That's real Christianity. And that's the faith of the Bible and the story of Revelation. And so, I wanted to share communion together as a church. Why? To celebrate Jesus. To celebrate His covenant love. To celebrate His faithfulness. He will never leave you or forsake you. He'll never leave you as an orphan. And one day you're going to stand before him and he's going to say, you'll never be hungry or thirsty again. And I'm going to wipe every, all the crap you had to put up with it. Just wipe every tear from your eye. That's what communion should be. It's not like, oh, I better take this because I've been bad this week. Or, if I drink this, whatever, it's gonna save me. That's not what saves you. Your faith and trust in Jesus is what saves you. The knowledge that you are loved saves you. The knowledge that you are secure and safe, that saves you. The knowledge that you'll never be hungry again. There'll be no more tears in heaven. You will never be left behind by Jesus. That's why